I I don't know. Okay, we're gonna go with it. Yes, I'm talking to myself. I don't know what's wrong with the phone right now, but maybe I'm trying to do too much. Not really gonna shoot this video again. That would defeat the whole purpose. Hello, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your Thursday to join me. I believe you say that jueves in Spanish. I think it's Thursday. Um, anyways, so almost done with the work week. I hope that you guys are able to, get on by tomorrow. No problems, no stress, no drama. Get right back on over to where y'all call your crib is, turn on your device, watch vlogs about nothing, discuss the greater things in the universe. Like, where do we come from? What's going on here? No, you'll find none of that here. I just am a random guy talking about nothing behind my desk in my room of an apartment in Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's what's going down. So, for wherever you are, to whoever you may be, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate that. I spend all of my day joining random people that will never know that I joined them, as it concerns just like watching content and being a part of an entirely new industry that I find myself watching people talk in front of their cameras instead of major shows on networks and stuff just because I thoroughly enjoy it more than that, and the times I do go find myself going back to big media and stuff, it's for like classic comedies and different things like that. It's not often that something new is really cool, although that's kind of not true either. It's like, who doesn't like Puka? As Halloween every year comes around, I think of Puka and his influence on me, and how I think Puka and Chucky and Jason and Freddy and Michael, they should all get together and make a movie. You can't forget the Leprechaun, Sandman. There's so many cool characters within the horror genre. Tomorrow's Friday the 13th too, just so that you know. But that was a sidebar. Tonight we're talking, those are all a bunch of things that we could make different videos about. Each one of those different topics within all of what we just discussed in under 150 seconds. But I want to talk tonight, link in the description below. There's a really cool video. I think it's on Bloomberg Specials. I don't want to be misquoted. This is an improv video, like they all are. And if you didn't catch the beginning of the video, I just always hope for them to go the best, and when they don't, the show must go on. As that one really cool movie that I think, the Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor, he says that in Moulin Rouge. Is that what it is? Or no, it is not. It's the one, I think, with Richard Gere and Chicago. Is it Chicago? I don't know. Anyways, we're talking about that video, and so the video talks about Kratom, and it's a newer video, just real recent video, and it's a real in-depth look about the not issue with, I would say, Kratom in and of itself, because Kratom is, I'm not a scientist. This is an impromptu video. I know nothing about the scientific molecular structure of what Kratom is. I know that that video and the link in the description below is so much more informative and knowledgeable as to the topic. But so far as to the material and my reaction goes on their commentary, or their reporting rather, this commentary on their reporting, is that it just highlights the need for regulation in unregulated spaces. I think millennials in particular, and especially as Zers become more involved with politics and learning the history of just how recently our country has gone into a fire, I'd say that not regulating things has proven to be maybe the biggest cause of all of what's gone wrong, at least financially speaking, in the last, well, since Reaganomics. Since Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher decided to go on a global, crusade, as so far as it goes to deregulate economic markets, through a plethora of policy reform, and all while, conducting an experiment that did in fact create a surplus of wealth for a number of years prior to, obviously, I guess what everyone could most recently remember in terms of like the internet bubble, and then the mortgage bubble, and then COVID, and then it's so there was some failed auto companies somewhere in there as well. Although they made good on their debts. So, like, let's be clear there too that American manufacturer companies for automobiles made good on their debts, and the bankers just took our money and ran. But regardless, so going back to Kratom, right, and just unregulated substances, I just obviously, as laissez faire as you want to be with some industries, there becomes a time where the public interest in safety outweighs the consumer's benefit for, usurping a kind of status of experimentation, in that it's not entirely regulated and that going into it. But when it's become a business where 1 million pounds of it are being imported into our country every month, and different states have different regulations, we then come into the whole inherent problem of deregulation as it concerns federal policy and its direct impact, unarguably, with the local and sovereign state entities that are under the umbrella of the federal government. And so Kratom is an alternative method to chronic pain, so far as I understand, in that it is thought to replace or be a lesser kind of harmful substance than an opioid. So that's my understanding of Kratom. Now, again, link in the description below. That's as simple as I can make it, because that's kind of as simple as I understand it to be. I understand that Kratom is also not legal in some states, and I know that some people go to great lengths to obtain Kratom. Some people absolutely swear by Kratom. There's public influencers, boomers like Rogan, who use Kratom. And again, in its not to mention that there have been entire sovereign populations throughout the world over who've been utilizing Kratom for long before the Western world has decided to invest in infrastructure that has really built a solid multi-billion-dollar industry as it concerns Kratom and THC-A and the different derivatives of THC and Delta 9s and CBDs. These are entirely unregulated markets. Vitamins and supplements. These are, again, markets that are extremely profitable, very lucrative for those involved in the inner workings of the institutions themselves, but all while don't have to follow rules. This is in and of itself a conflict. It's a major conflict. I feel like, if Kratom is going to be legal, just as any of the aforementioned concepts are, they should be blanketed on a federal level so that there is no confusion as to its safety and or legitimacy to the consumer when we buy this stuff. I mean, may as well have Uncle Sam's full blessing on it as it concerns some kind of accountability, because you run the risk of, being an unfortunate example, as highlighted in the video below, in particular with Kratom, in that you end up getting addicted to a different kind of, what some would argue, just legal drug. We've talked about gas station heroin here before on the program. Zaza is what it was when we talked about it. Like, another, again, product that is sold without regulation because of an unregulated industry. So, it's not that I don't want Kratom as an option for people to utilize, especially when the alternative is the other option is opioids. I mean, obviously, I feel like it's pretty public that, I am a huge fan of modern pharmaceutical advance in that the modern pharmaceutical industry has done a lot of good. They've done a lot of good. Now, simultaneously, they've also done a lot of unforgivable, terrible things, and the synthetic compounding of, or the compounding of synthetic chemicals to press into, powders that are then sold at huge profits. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of that, obviously, and things of that kind of stuff. But again, I just feel like if it were regulated better and if people cared about it more, then maybe, the industry following suit with profit would just do a little bit more, or be forced to do a little bit more to ensure the efficacy and the safety of their product. So instead of, trading one drug in for another, so far as the addiction goes and the or potential to become addicted, maybe make it so that it's not addictive in nature, but still is able to help whatever person is looking to seek that kind of treatment. But in order for that to happen, it needs to be regulated, it needs to be legal. That way, doctors can give legal opinions about diagnoses that are otherwise not legitimate, because I guess in some instances where it's not legal, it wouldn't matter. So I hope that you guys have a really good night. Thank you for listening to me talk every single night, and rant about stuff and vlog and be middle aged and have the opportunity to be a part of y'all's lives. This is something that, is a big part of my life, obviously, one of the only parts of my life that I've made, but I'm making some progress. Been applying for jobs, really just, hoping that I will get a job soon. But other than that, it's still everyday life as usual, which it will always be. And it's always a fun experience. At this time last week, I wasn't expecting to have one of the better nights I've had since the Crazy X last year. So life throws something new at you every single day. Shout out to Tiff. This is probably like the fourth time I've mentioned you. I know you watch the videos. I know you're a sub. Hit me up. I hope that you guys have a really good night. All of these inside jokes, I know, TMI, TBH, whatever. It is what it is. I'm an IRL streamer, so I hope that you guys have a really good night. All right? Bye.